Hi guys, this is the model answer for the States of Matter Higher exam question. The information in the box is about the properties of solids and gases. Solids have a fixed shape and are difficult to compress or squash. Gases will spread and fill the entire container and are easy to compress or to squash. Use your knowledge of kinetic theory to explain the information given in the box. You should consider the space in between the particles, the movement of the individual particles, and the forces between the particles. So because it's a 6-mark question, we need to make sure that we have made all the relevant points. It's split up quite nicely for us into 2 sections. So what I'm going to do is start with solids, and I'm going to go through each of these 3 things. Okay, so for solids, if we think about how a solid is arranged, the particles are in nice, neat rows in a regular pattern. They're all touching and they're vibrating around a fixed position. Okay, so particles are close together. And there is no room for particles to move closer together. So they are already as close to each other as physically possible. They can't get any closer together. And because of that, it links to that second bullet point there, that they're difficult to compress. Okay, so therefore, solids are difficult to compress. So for the next point about solids, we're going to talk about the movement of the individual particles, because remember, it's asking me to include these 3 things in my answer. So the solids, they vibrate around a fixed point. Now, lots of people think that solid particles don't move. That's not correct. They do vibrate around a fixed point. Okay, now the next thing it's asking me to write about is the forces of attraction. So the particles have got strong forces of attraction between them. Between the particles. Which means that the particles are held quite strongly together, so they're not able to move around, which links to that point about them having a fixed shape. So therefore, particles are held strongly together and not free to move, meaning that solids have a fixed shape. And then I can just double check that I've made all my points. So I've talked about why they are difficult to compress. I've talked about why they've got a fixed shape. And through doing that, I've also included the space between the particles, the movement of the individual particles and the forces between the particles. What I need to do now is talk about gases. Previously, when people have done this question, they've gone off on a tangent about liquids, and the information that they've written is correct. However, they didn't get any marks for it because the question is just about gases and solids. So let's remind ourselves about the structure of a gas. So we've got particles, they move freely, fill the shape of the container, very energetic. Okay, so the information we've got about the gases is they will spread to fill the entire container and they are easy to compress. Okay, so the first thing I'll talk about is the space in between the particles. The particles are far apart. A lot of space. Okay, a lot of space between them. And have a lot of space between them. I'm going to need to use my extra room now. Okay, and then we're going to link that to the next point. So therefore, if they have a lot of space between them, they are easy to compress. Therefore, they are easy to compress. Now the next point is about the movement of the individual particles. So the particles in a gas move randomly. The particles in a gas move randomly. Okay, and they have no fixed shape. Considering their energies, the particles are very energetic and there is a very small or negligible force of attraction between the particles. Okay, so there is a negligible, which means next to none. So small that we can ignore it. Force of attraction. Between particles. And then because there is this negligible force of attraction between the particles, and they're able to move out and they're able to spread out in all directions so they can fill the space of the container. So therefore, the particles can spread out in all directions and fill the entire container they are in. Really important to make sure that you look back at the question. It's a 6 marker. Make sure we haven't gone off on a tangent. We've managed to answer these 4 things and include these 3 different points for each one as well. So well done if you've had a really good go at that. I know 6 mark questions sometimes not easy. Please, if you have any problems or if you're stuck with anything, feel free to email me and I'll get back to you. Thank you.